How to network in consulting. Hi, my name is Johannes Nyari. I'm a strategy consultant, and on this channel I want to help you to learn the necessary skills that you need for your first years in consulting. And today we talk about networking in consulting. And when I thought about joining the consulting industry, I knew nothing about networking. Nevertheless, I knew that it was kind of important because everyone I talked to, they always said, Johannes, consulting is a relationship-based business. Networking is very important. So I started, reading about networking, but still it was very, very hard for me to understand how that really worked. This changed when I met a person who was responsible for building the network for a successful entrepreneur. And I became friends with this person, and I asked her, if she could give me some advice on how to network. And she gave me 5 tips in order to build a network over time. And throughout the years, I really tried to apply these 5 steps that this person gave me. And throughout the years, I really learned how to build a network and how to make use of it. So what I want to do now and today in this video is to give you these 5 tips, these 5 steps in order to build a good network, and hopefully this will help you in your career. Before we start, let's maybe answer the question why networking is so important in consulting. And there are mainly, 3 reasons why networking is so important. So first of all, it can help you to get into consulting. So if you build a network, if you get to know people that can help you to get into consulting, this obviously is quite helpful in the recruiting process. So for example, you could build a network to the recruiters, to people in the HR department, to people within the firm who can give you a recommendation. So we have to be very clear about that. It's not, still if you have a connection, you still need, to have a great CV. You still need to have, great practical experience. You still need to have this personal fit. But obviously, it is a little bit easier if you have some access to some insider information, if you have people, who might support your application. And this is certainly one of the benefits of building a network to these people. Reason number 2 is that you also, if you work in consulting, that through networking, you get access to knowledge. So very important is if you work in consulting that you have access to knowledge that you cannot find in any written form. And very often you need, contact 2 people within your firm who can give you tips on how to approach things. Also, maybe, some experts that you meet throughout the time, which have some expert advice. Maybe some friends who work in a different company who can also give you some advice. So this access to knowledge is also very important if you work in consulting. And of course, last but not least, reason number 3, and this is especially important, if you are on a project manager level or beyond, then you need this network in order to build business, in order to develop business. So these are the 3 reasons why networking is so important if you work in consulting. And on this video, now I want to talk about 5 steps that will help you to build a network. And let's start directly with step number 1. And step number 1 is that you have to define who you want to meet and why you want to meet this person. And the friend I talked about earlier, she said to me, okay, before you even start thinking about networking, you should take a step back and ask yourself, okay, why do I want to build a network and who do I really want to meet? So ask yourself what you want to achieve. So do you want to maybe get a job in consulting? Do you want to, get to know people in order to get access to knowledge? Do you want to meet people in order to build business? So be very clear about why you want to network. And after that, make a list of people who you want to network with. So let's say, for example, that you want to get into consulting and you want to get a network or build a network that helps you with that. So then you should make a list with people who could help you. So maybe on the list there are people, like recruiters, people from the HR department, maybe some people, that work in a consultancy, maybe know someone, in your environment that already has some experience there. Okay, so make a list of people that you want to potentially meet. So these don't have to be necessarily exact names. Sometimes you say, okay, I especially want to meet this kind of person. But in other cases, this is just a job description or, someone that you want to meet in general. Okay, but important, think about why you want to network. So write down the reason and then think about who you actually want to meet. And this leads to step number 2. And this is that you think about where you find these people. And this is a very important step, because if you want to build a network to certain people, then you need to go to places where you can find them. And this could be online or offline. So this could be on the internet, through LinkedIn, through social media. This could be, but also, in offline locations like events, meetups, career fairs, or whatsoever. So make a list of places where you could find those people. So once you have this list of people that you want to meet, then you think about, okay, where can you find these people? And again, if we talk about, getting into consulting, and you say you want to meet with recruiters, then you could say, okay, where do I find these recruiters? Then you make a list of possible places, like, for example, career fairs, career events, also student clubs, maybe career centers at the universities, or also online through LinkedIn and so on. Okay, this is a very important step. This is step number 2, that you really think about where can you find them. Then step number 3 is that you meet them and give them a reason to network. So let's say you have identified who you want to meet, then you also know where to find them, and now you are in a situation where you can actually talk to them. And this is a situation where you just, have to jump into the cold water. This approach, if you want to network with people, is always a kind of, very uncomfortable feeling, these kind of unknown social situations. But, it's very important that you just jump into the cold water and approach these people. So don't be afraid of approaching them, just be very likable, just be very open, smile at them, and then just ask them, if they have a couple of minutes to talk. So what I typically would do would be to, approach them. Then I would also, ask kindly, or maybe you just join a group. Very often in these networking events, there are people talking, and you just join the group, then you introduce yourself. And what I also would do is to prepare a very, short pitch about yourself. So maybe just, a couple of words, who you are, what your background is, and why you are here, or who you want to meet. This is very important. And then once you are in this conversation, try to build rapport as quickly as possible. So, don't necessarily, pitch yourself and tell everyone, how great you are. Rather, ask kind questions, try to build rapport, try to get to know each other a little bit in order, to build this kind of relationship that you want to actually have. Also, what you should do is that you give them a reason to network with you. So think about why you could be interesting for another person. This is very important, because people don't like it if they meet someone who just asks and asks. They also want to meet people who give. Okay, so it's very important. If you want to network with them, you need to give them a reason why you're interesting, or why you could help them. So for example, let's say you want to meet this recruiter, and you go to a career fair, and then you meet this person. Okay, then you go there, you introduce yourself, and then you should, for example, give them a reason why you're interesting for them. For example, that you are a potential hire. And if you introduce yourself, I would do a small pitch, like, for example, hey, I am Johannes, I'm studying at this university, and I'm very interested in joining the consulting industry, particularly maybe a firm in the strategy sector. This could be a typical pitch, so that everyone knows who you are, what your background is, and why you are here. Then you should build some rapport. So maybe you make some compliments, you can ask questions, maybe you do a little bit of small talk, maybe you find topics that the other person is interested in. So this is a very important step. And then at the end, you also need to make a call to action. So say that you maybe are interested in applying for this firm, and then ask, if it would be okay if you would stay in touch, or if you could send your CV or something like that, and then make sure that you get the contact data. Okay, so this would be how I would structure this step number 3, when you meet people and give them a reason to network with you. What you need to do then is that you stay in touch and build a relationship. And this is something, that I did wrong for a very long time. To be honest, I think I'm quite good in approaching people, but I'm very, very bad in, staying in touch with people. And this is something that I have to learn, or still have to learn as well. But this is what I can recommend. So if you have the contact data from the person you want to network with, then directly, the best case, you do it at the same evening. You write a short thank you note, and then maybe, you have a call to action. Maybe you send your CV, you send some information about yourself. And then over the time, you still need to, keep up this kind of relationship. So maybe once in a while you send a short update. Maybe, if you see something happening on LinkedIn, that might be interesting for the person, you send a link. Maybe, if there's Christmas, if there's a birthday, you write them or give them a call. It's just important, that regularly you have these kind of touch points in order to stay in contact. Because again, if we talk about this case where you want to meet a recruiter, maybe you don't want to directly apply for this firm. Maybe you want to apply, in a year or in 2 years. And then it's very important that, they have a very good impression from you, but that you also stay in touch over the time, because otherwise they will forget you, and then the entire effort at the beginning, it's kind of worthless, because then when you need this kind of relationship, it's not warm anymore. So this is very important. Stay in touch and build a relationship. And if you want to build a relationship, always keep in mind that you always have to provide value. So again, think about what you can do for the other person. So if you stay in touch so that you provide information, for example, that might be useful for this other person. And then step number 5, and this is also very important, is that you track your networking activities. I think many people make the mistake that they don't have a structured approach towards networking. So it's very important, I think, to have a kind of backlog, to list all the people you want to network with, and to also, have a short log where you say, okay, this was the last time where I met this person, this was the topic we talked about, and then maybe, you have another column when you want to approach this person again. And I think this is very important to do, because otherwise it's very, very difficult to keep an overview of your network, and then you might not be able to build this long-term relationship that you actually want to have. So these are the 5 steps that I can give to you if you want to build a network in consulting. If you like the video, then please subscribe to this channel. Please also leave a thumb up. If you want to learn more consulting skills that you need for the beginning for your career, like Excel, PowerPoint, communication, organization, and so on, then please check out the link below. There you find access to my consulting course. And with that being said, I hope you have a wonderful day and week. And with that being said, talk to you tomorrow. Goodbye, Johannes.